Senator Antic.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I rise tonight to speak regarding my attendance at St Maroon's Parish and Community Hall on Saturday 15 February with my friend and state colleague, the member for Elder Carolyn Power MP. We were fortunate enough to be invited for a celebration of 41 years of service for Mr Elias Nima, the Honorary Consul for Lebanon in my home state of South Australia. Not only did that visit afford me a rare opportunity to reflect upon a marvellous career, but also it gave me an opportunity to reflect upon the contributions made to South Australia by the Maronite community. The first Lebanese people arrived in Australia in approximately 1850, and the Maronite people first arrived in South Australia in around 1854. At first, only a small number of Maronite people made the long journey to Australia, but as religious persecution continued in Lebanon and as new shores beckoned, they emigrated in increasing numbers in search of a new life and a new beginning for them and their children. These people came chiefly to live openly and without discrimination or persecution, and for these people, family and church were one and the same, such being their way of life in the mould of St Maron. The Maronite people are a stoic people who held fast to their culture and heritage, working relentlessly for their families in a new land. Their story represents a lesson to all Australians on the value of faith and tradition, to not just the current generation, but for future generations to come. The Maronite movement had a profound influence in Lebanon, and its monks remained faithful to the teachings of the Catholic Church. And 2 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to celebrate the life and achievements of Mr Nima, and on that occasion, his daughter Anne spoke of his life, his achievements, and his generous nature attributable to his lifelong pursuit of the principles of St Maron enshrined in the Church. At age 17, Mr Nima travelled solo from Lebanon to Australia, where he met his wife, Violet. Together, they formed a dynamic relationship that would span close to 60 years, being blessed with 7 children, 18 grandchildren and, more recently, 2 great-grandchildren. Mr Nima and his wife sponsored and settled numerous Lebanese immigrants, helping them to adapt to their new homeland, helping them to seek employment, to find housing and schooling for their growing families. In 1971, Mr Nima was first elected as the president and chairman of the Lebanese Maronite community in Adelaide and was instrumental in establishing the first Maronite church. In 1978, Mr Nima was appointed Honorary Consul for Lebanon, which allowed him to facilitate numerous visits from members of parliament from both Lebanon and Australia. In the recounting of Mr Nima's life, the lessons of education, hard work and dedication showed the importance of building a positive, meaningful and enjoyable life. Recently, Mr Nima was awarded the Medal of St Maron and the Lebanese Embassy Trophy to commemorate these 41 years of service. Mr Nima has instilled in his family the value of education, hard work and dedication. His life and achievements and the impact he's had on those around him should stand as an example to all Australians as to what can be achieved when one honours faith and tradition and bestows upon the next generation the same noble and robust systems of learning, hard work and dedication, which enable them to flourish and to provide success for themselves and their community. So I take this opportunity to thank the Maronite community of South Australia and St Maron's Parish for having me at the celebration of Mr Nima's 41 years of service, and I'd like to acknowledge Mr Nima, his family and the Maronite community's contribution to this country and to my home state of South Australia.